Good afternoon, grade 12s, and welcome to the LO lesson for today. My name is Ling Litiga, and I am your grade 12 LO teacher for the duration of the lockdown. On the screen, my details, as you can see, you can contact me on my email address. That is where you can contact me, and it is litigapuling@yahoo.com. In everything is in small letters, and that is where you can find me. Ask me any questions with regards to your grade 12 LO, and I will readily be able to speak to you. All right, let us move on to look at our theme for the day. So today we're doing chapter 5, unit 3, and it's innovative solutions to counter react unemployment. So remember yesterday we were doing unemployment and we were checking the reasons for unemployment. Today we're going to look at how we can counter, interact, how we can counter unemployment. So the lesson objectives for today are that you must know volunteering, part-time jobs, community work, entrepreneurship, and informal jobs. These are the things that you can do that we're going to look at in order to counter react unemployment. So let us move on to our first slide. Volunteering. So volunteering, part-time jobs, community work, entrepreneurship, and informal jobs. These are the kinds of work that you can do to counter react unemployment. We're going to look at each and every one of aspects. And then it is, but remember you can participate. Welcome to everyone. I'm so sorry. Welcome to everyone, and you're allowed to participate in the lesson. You can go to the chat box or you can just raise your hand. I'll unmute you and you can make your comment on the lesson and tell me anything that you want to know. So, it is very important that you never lose hope or feel that because there is so many unemployed young people that you will never get a job. So it is important because we do have a situation in our country where there is a lot of job loss. I mean, let's speak about prior to COVID-19, prior to a lockdown, we already had an unemployment problem, and a lot of it amongst the youth, even youth that have qualifications like our graduates. So basically, it has been a problem that our our economy hasn't been able to produce the amount of jobs that is able to cover all the people that it needs to cover. So a lot of young people do fall into depression. They get stressed because they are unable to be independent. They still have to depend on their parents, and their parents have to take care of them. Some of them have children, so their parents end up having to take care of their children too. So it is very hard for someone who's unemployed. So this lesson is just to also encourage you and make sure that you don't lose hope. That, yeah, I'm sure you're still at school, but I'm sure you do know some people that are unemployed and are young, and some of them have been to school and maybe they are still waiting for, sorry about that, they're still waiting for jobs. Now is the time to motivate yourself to do as well as possible at school so that you can go to university. So this is the time, this is relevant for you because now you have the opportunity to work hard and to get the marks that you want. so that you can go to university and study. So take on a learnership or attend an FET college. So whatever your marks will be, maybe you will be able to go to a university or go to a you'll be able to go to a University of Technology or an APT college depending on your performance in your matric exam. So by now you should have realized that there are not many jobs for school leavers. So if you just leave school at matric, you should realize that the chances of you getting a job are really less than someone who has a qualification. And if you do get a job, it's probably not going to pay you as much as what a graduate or someone with is a graduate, someone with a diploma degree or a certificate will get paid. So you need to get further qualifications. So it is important to go to school after matric. So let's move on to the next slide. All right. However, if you're in a situation where you're not able to learn new skills, remember that immediately after grade 12 or have or you have qualification but you cannot find work, then it is up to your skills to find an alternative to a formal job. So it's up to you to find skills that will help you to get an alternative to a formal job. So we're going to go through the different things that you can do in order to get a job that is not formal. So it might not be a 9 to 5. You might not have to wear a formal gray pants and a white t-shirt, but these will still um, these will still help you to get some form of an income. So volunteering is number one. Volunteering means you help others, you give off your time and skills to others. Volunteering makes you feel good about yourself because you're doing something for someone else. So volunteering is generally considered an activity where an individual or group freely gives time to benefit another person, group, or organization. So there are different groups and organizations. There are health groups, there are environmental groups, there are nature conservation groups, there are child welfare groups, there are groups for the elderly, there are groups for people with disabilities. So there are different groups where you can take part in depending on your interest or where your passion is. So you can participate in volunteering for those groups. So volunteering is also renowned for skill development and is often intended to promote goodness or improve human quality of life. So you can gain skills from volunteering. So in whatever work you want to do. And like what I would advise is that you volunteer in the area that you would like to work in. So if you like to be a nurse, then you must volunteer in a health environment so that it can speak to what you want to do and so that you can gather experience in the correct area. So you're not gonna volunteer at a preschool if maybe you want to work in engineering. So if you want to work in engineering, you might want to help a mechanic or help fitter and turner who's working so that you can gather the kinds of skills that you need for that area. So volunteering is important. You can improve the quality of human life. The more hands we have helping each other out, the better. So when you volunteer, you could be helping out with an old age home. So you will be helping adults to maybe keep clean, to be well fed, and to keep warm. So your services will be appreciated in that area. And if everyone does something to help, then we will improve the lives of people. So volunteering may have positive benefits for the volunteer as well as for the person or community being served. It is also intended to make contacts for possible employment. So you're able to network over there. Like I said, you're going to work in the area that you want to be in. So let's say you go volunteer at your local clinic. That means you get to make connections. Maybe when you start working, you can go there for your practicals once you starting at university, and you have to go do your practicals. Then you can actually go back there and do your practicals at that particular clinic. Also, if you want to go into business and entrepreneurship, it is important to have certain networking to know people that can help your business out, businesses that do the same thing, to have interests. So going to volunteer at someone's business, helping them with filing or with answering calls, mails, and then at the same time checking out what they're doing, how they're doing their business, and how they're selling their products can be good for you. You're gaining experience, plus you're going to know who the main competitors are. You're going to know who the main actors are in the industry that you're going to work at. You know who's your competition, and you know who you should be learning from. You know who are the people with power. So you also make yourself contact so that you can grow. People that are going to speak into business and people that are going to promote the business. So yes, context for possible employment. And then many volunteers are specifically trained in the areas where they work, like we've been saying, such as medicine, education, and emergency reserve. So let's move on to the next slide. Part-time job. So if you work for a short while or for short part of a day a week, you have what is called a part-time job. You can gain a lot of experience with part-time jobs because you can have more than one job at a time. So part-time jobs are for people who really can't find a full-time job. That is one reason. And then they're also for people who want to make extra money. So a part-time job is a form of employment that carries fewer hours per week than a full-time job. They work in shifts. The shifts are often rotational. So what happens is with part-time jobs, maybe there is extra work. Maybe the people who are full-time will be knocking off like at 4 o'clock, and then there is extra work. So the people who are part-time will be coming in at 4 o'clock and maybe leaving at 10. Basically, they make sure that the company keeps working and keeps moving. Maybe there is a demand and the company has to make a capacity. So you find that according to the labor laws, they can't keep the workers maybe for more than 8 hours, and keeping them for extra time, you still have to pay double for that hour. So they would rather get part-time workers and pay them at normal rates for the extra work, or rather they just creating employment. So then what would happen is you will fill in for these people even on weekends. Maybe the people who are full time will work Monday to Friday, and then the part time jobs will be at the weekend or during public holidays when some of the workers go and rest at home. The part time workers will come in on public holidays, and when they take leave, when the permanent workers take leave, then the part-time workers can go and join them. So those are shifts, night shifts too. So not necessarily ending at 10. Part-time workers can also come in at 6 2 in the morning just to help out with business. So the shifts are often rotational, so they do rotate. Maybe some will come in during the week, some will come in during the weekend, and then they will roll over, and the ones they will exchange maybe for the following week. So workers are considered to be part-time if they commonly work fewer than 30 hours per week, so they won't work as many hours as the full-time workers work. Their work time hours are shorter. So according to the number of part-time workers, uh, according to research, the number of part-time workers has increased from one quarter to a half in the past 20 years. So it means like for the past 20 years in most developed countries, that is. So there are less people working full-time jobs and there are more people working part-time jobs. Maybe it's the nature of the economies where you find that employers maybe can't keep full-time workers, they would rather work with part-time workers because then they are able to manage their finances and maybe they'll argue that they make enough profits. And then when they keep people full-time, maybe they find themselves having to pay these people and they are just not using them for the whole week. So there are a number of reasons for getting extra for part-time job. It is to get extra money, and if you are unavailable, no, if you are unable to find a full-time job, so that is when you find that someone will be working like two shifts or something like that. You find that someone has two part-time jobs because it is not a full-time job, so they won't make enough money as someone who works part-time, full-time. So you will have to hold down three of these part-time jobs in order to make enough money and in order to get a salary that is proper. So we can move on to the community work slide. So community work means you do something to benefit your community in need. So these are different needs of your community, whether they're elders that need to be taken care of, whether they're people who are sick that need to be visited at home, spa, and maybe their homes cleaned. Maybe there are senior citizens that are left with little grandchildren who are school going and they need to be helped so that the kids can go to school. They need their houses to be cleaned and they need their laundries to be washed. There are maybe church organizations that give food over the weekends. You can volunteer there and go help give food. So that is like community work. So you are giving back to your community, maybe volunteering at your local post office or your local home affairs office or your local counseling or social development office. So it is also a form of volunteering, but you concentrate on the needs of your community. So maybe when you volunteer, you could be volunteering in the private sector, business, or in the formal sector, or whereas when you're doing community work, you'll probably be more focused on taking care of the community and it will be more about your society and helping people. So the work is usually paid for by the government or an NGO. So usually people who do community work will be compensated by the government and NGOs are usually funded by the government even though they can be funded by other institutions, by the private sector or overseas investors. that are always maybe interested in investing in developing countries. So they will maybe companies from overseas will come and help out with orphans and with people who are HIV positive, suffering from TB, diabetes, cancer. So they can invest in local communities for awareness, for education, and giving test kits like what we see now in during COVID-19 is we seeing a lot of overseas countries donating test kits and wear and protective gear for our essential workers and our frontline workers. And we have a lot of NGOs giving food to our communities, food parcels or essential parcels with, I know some of the parcels have like detergent, soap, they have, so sorry, they have bath soaps and they'll have dishwashing liquids, they'll also have meat, so they will have other things. So there will be NGOs that are taking care of the community. Some of them are giving loaves of bread. So, and then all religious, like I said, you can join a religious organization. They always have like preschools and maybe ECDs where you can go and help when they dishing out food for the children or when they clean the yard. And it can also be taking care of the animals in your community. Maybe there is an SPCA around where you stay and they take care of the animals that they find, the stray animals and the sick animals that they find in your local community. And that is where they will help them out. So you can help out in different areas. Also, maybe with regards to pollution, there are recycling campaigns where you can help recycle and pick up papers maybe once a week. Some community members go around and pick up the papers and try gather the garbage from the corners so you can be involved in stuff like that. So some of them do pay, they're very organized and they are sponsored by companies that have particular interest in them. Like some of them are education companies that are interested in education or have education as their values will go and support local schools. I mean, maybe that's the way you can go and teach extra math or extra science to the grade fours, grade five, grade sixes. For instance, you're doing grade 12 this year, so maybe next year, if you don't get a place at university, there could be an NGO giving extra lessons at schools. So, and they might have a stipend, so you can go and volunteer and teach extra, the children extra there. So, for example, also you may help to feed orphans, so you may help to make a community food garden. So, gardens do help with people who can't afford their food, so that will be more on the farming side. So, community work is a non paying job performed by one person or a group of people for the benefit of the community or its institution. Community work is distinct from volunteering because it is not always performed on a voluntary basis. So it is different from volunteering because you can get paid if you are part of an organization that, or maybe it's funded, whatever your project or your program can be funded by a big company, and then you can, for instance, stipends and maybe money for transport and money for food. So let us go on to the next slide, which is on entrepreneurship. So we can move to the next slide, which is on entrepreneurship. All right, there we go. To be an entrepreneur, you have to see a need and provide a service or goods that people need. So you see a need, a gap in the market, like they say. So you look around and then you see, okay, my community, we all struggle. Some people struggle with Wi-Fi. Maybe I can open up an internet cafe. People don't have anywhere to make photocopies, send me documents, send back. So you can open an internet cafe in your area so that people can be able to make their ID copies, their birth certificate copies, their passport copies, and you'll be the person who is giving those services. I know a lot of young people right now are doing t-shirts and hoodies, beanies, caps. So if you have an idea or a concept that you want to put on a t-shirt or a brand that you have, then you can do so. If you feel that is unique enough, because otherwise you'll just be another person who is like doing t-shirts, or you can find something different. Maybe you can bake cakes, or if in your community there's no bakery, so you can open up a bakery. Let's say you got cooking skills from your mom or your aunt, and you can collaborate and do a business with them and open a bakery in your community. So whatever the gap in the market is, if there's no touch shop, you're welcome to do it. So you're not gonna wait for someone else to do it. So this is a great way to earn money while you look for other opportunities. So whatever your side hustle will be, or entrepreneurship will be, whatever your idea is, it is a good idea so that you can still like earn money whilst you're looking for maybe a full-time job or maybe a bigger deal. If your entrepreneurship leads to success, you may turn this into a day-to-day job and also employ others. So if your entrepreneurship venture gets successful, you can grow it. So you can grow it from a small company to a medium company and then start maybe employing people, register properly, do your tax papers properly, get an auditor, and make it something big and invest in it, and maybe you could turn over millions one day. So you can turn it into something that is full time and make money out of it. So there are many successful entrepreneurs in South Africa. So entrepreneurship is the activity of setting up a business or businesses. So you are setting up a business, so you're taking on financial risk in the hope of profit. So sometimes you're taking money that you have saved and are now putting it into this business idea. So it means you're risking. You don't know whether this is going to work out or not, but you are investing in the hope that with the hope that you will make money. So you are basically being a businessman. Businessmen take risk all the time. So if you don't risk to start your business, then you don't know whether your business can be successful or not. So the best business people or business people that are successful right now are some of them. Some of them took chances, and some of them the business never worked. Um, Initially, but they reinvented their business and they came up with a more innovative idea, and then that worked. So if the first business does not work, you can always like change your idea and then try to implement a different idea, and that'll work. So you're going to put in the money that you saved, your pocket money, or you're gonna start off with something small like selling muffins, selling sandwiches, and selling chips or baking some scones. And then once you've got your capital, then you can go and start off your business. So you don't always start off with the business that you want, but you can start something that can turn over money every day in order to gather money for capital so that you can start and do something that you feel more passionate about, that you feel that will make more money. So it also refers to the concept of developing and managing a business. So you are developing an idea. So sometimes you can start something now, but then you're going somewhere. So you're not starting with the idea of now I must be a millionaire immediately. If I'm not a millionaire immediately, then I'm not a businessman. So you can start off with the first step and you're building up, you're going somewhere. So you start off there and you know that you go in phases until you build your client base. You know who your target market is. You gain some experience, you gain some networks, and you made the right connections. And the connections teaching about legal connections, like getting to know another business that's doing the same thing in a different country. So you can expand your business to Lesotho, Land, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, maybe to the static. So you found a partner. So you found like a connection, someone you can work with. So a venture in order to gain, you can also manage a business and then venture in order to gain profit by taking several risks in the corporate world. So you can also go to the corporate world and start a business from there. For instance, something that you can do whilst working for another person is sales. Um, Sales also allow you to be an entrepreneur because what happens is that you will maybe be given a contract that you're working for us, say you're selling a certain product, you're selling shoes, or you are selling a certain food or vegetables, and then they also give you your budget and say, these are your products. Once we hand them over to you, you see what you do with them, and the more you sell, the more you get money. So you know that you're running your small business on the side. The more you make money, the more you get something in your pocket. And some sales companies, they allow you to operate as an individual. For instance, I do know companies where you will get a book, and the more you sell, the more you hire, and you can get other people to sell. So now you're like a distributor. And then, simply put, entrepreneurship the is the willingness to start a new business. So it's just you being willing to start something new. And then an entrepreneur is someone who is willing to work for himself and by himself. So you must also be willing most of the time to work for yourself. So you are self-employed, you're doing something for yourself, and also you're also willing to work by yourself. So you might not have employees, you might have to go deliver by yourself, you might need to start the product from scratch. So you're going to bake your scones from scratch, then you're going to have to go door to door to sell. You're going to have to go to Instagram and maybe market your business, go to Facebook, market the business, and then maybe you will be doing the marketing, you'll be doing the advertising, you'll also be going to the customer themselves and giving them what they need. So let's move on to the next slide. We can move on to the next slide. It's on informal jobs. So informal jobs are usually short term. Some people prefer informal. employment is flexible hours. So the flexible hours allow them to balance family responsibilities. Other people find that this is the only work they can do to survive. So some of the work you can do online, promotion, you're promoting for a certain company. I know young people love doing this, even like some varsity students to go and promote jeans or clothes at a local at for a local retail, or you go to a local mall and you be the clown and you put on a costume and entertain the little ones, take photos with them during festive season. Maybe you're the reindeer, or you're Father Christmas, or you are Jesus, you're giving the little kids the gift. So that is an informal job. It's flexible. You get to do it and go home. And that does allow you time with your family first. And then maybe this job is the one that helps you survive. Like you know that even if it's a season to season job. During Easter you are an Easter bunny. During summer you are a flower. During winter you are helping out, giving people blankets, anything that you wish to do for them. So, moving on to our next slide, which is on our activity. So, our activities that you name the types of innovative solutions to counteract unemployment. So, you're going to give me the types of solutions, the types of things that you can do to counter react solution. So we will see each other tomorrow, which is on Wednesday. So please, you can go to Africa Teen Geeks. That is for more information. Sign up for the newsletter. Remember, so that you can get your links and everything that you need to know. And then basically what you can also do is that you can follow Africa Teen Geeks on all social media platforms. And then that is where you also get the information that you need. So goodbye and thank you for the lesson. See you tomorrow.